Hello, this is John Stevens again, and I'm filming a second episode today because I am incredibly bored. But I will, of course, stagger the publication date of these episodes so you will see them in a weekly order. Today's theme is to live or let die. Ooh, that's a good one, isn't it? We can get some Bond music going. Da 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 da. Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing. But anyhow, borrowing the Bond title, Deliver, Let Die, when to keep and when to release. The value of catch and release, that's what we're talking about. Especially this came to mind to me because we're about to start Pennsylvania's trout season. It's being delayed by the COVID-19 virus, but every spring we see people keep tons and tons and tons of fish. And although it's good to get people started into fishing by having some success with relatively unaware fish that are artificially raised and put into an environment where they don't know what exactly is going on, it has some downsides too. It teaches people to have some bad habits, and we're going to talk about this today. So, what is the most important thing we can do as sportsmen to promote better quality fishing in our waterways, have good numbers, good size, um, and good size quality fish alongside of good numbers? Well, it really is managing catch and release appropriately. There are tools that already exist to do this. There are state laws. There are creel limits, which is how many fish you can keep per day, per person. But is that really enough? I'm going to argue no, it's not. And I also am going to offer an example of how it's not. First of all, I want to talk about Pennsylvania's trout program. I see it as a double-edged sword. Okay, I do. I see on one side of the sword, you have the edge that kids get introduced to fishing relatively quickly in convenient environments where they catch fish, have success, develop a love and passion for the sport like I did at a young age, and that's fantastic. They also get to take something home, have a sense of accomplishment, and really bond with the sport. I also understand that since we pay for a trout stamp, people feel like, hey, if we're paying for these fish, let's take them, you know? And they feel like they should get as much as they can out of the license and stamp they paid for. Fully understand that and get it. But there's also the other edge of that sword. The other edge of this sword is it promotes a put and take culture of fishing. For example, if you learn to fish thinking that every week the state is going to come in with a truck to stock a few thousand trout in your creek, and you think, oh, well, hey, if I keep all these fish, next week the state will put more in. Next week, we'll keep all these fish, me and my buddies and everybody around will keep them all, the state will put more in. What does that teach people to do but to catch and kill everything they catch? Remember, to live or let die is the question. If you do that with species other than trout that depend upon natural reproduction, it doesn't work out. So when people start with trout and they learn this ethic of catch and kill, keep everything, it's, going to be the state's responsibility to put more fish in every week. When they graduate from trout and say, I want to try something more challenging like bass, like walleye, like muskie, like pike, like anything. If they have that same philosophy, I'm going to catch and kill everything I keep, there's not going to be anything left to fish for because those fish don't get stocked every week. The Fish Commission doesn't come in with a truck in every river in Pennsylvania and stock another 10,000 smallmouth every week. It just doesn't go down that way. And you'll end up fishing waterways out. I wanted to offer an example of how this happened in Pennsylvania. Now, it's not in recent memory because it's been a few years back, but it was in 2005, the Bass Masters Classic, the national championship practically of bass fishing, came to Pittsburgh. 50 of the best bass fishermen in the world. We're not just talking professional fishermen, but the best of the professional fishermen, the best of the best, came to Pittsburgh. It was thought the Three Rivers would offer a great opportunity with a great forage base for great size smallmouth fishing. It was going to be wonderful. How'd it work out? The reality was that the best bass fishermen in the world were challenged to find a limit of 5 12-inch bass every day. Very few of them did it. I think the lunker, correct me if I'm wrong, was 15 inches long. May have weighed 2 pounds. What happened was it made a national spectacle and a national joke of the Pittsburgh area and the national joke of Pennsylvania fishing to the point where the Bassmasters Classic said they would never come back here. BASS didn't want to come to our area again. Why? I would submit to you, my theory is that because we have taught our people to start fishing with trout, with stock trout, where they keep everything they catch. Then when they graduate to bass, they keep every bass they catch. As a result, you have no population. So that even the best bass fishermen in the world can come here and not catch fish. That's saying something, because these guys, they're good. Let me tell you, they're better than even me. They're better, they're the best of the best. They know what the hell they're doing. And a lot of people for years, I get tired of them hearing them say, oh, well, there's just no fish around here. No, there are fish around here. We just can't put them back in the water. And I think that we got to practically think about sportsmanship and the concept of to live or let die and the value of catch and release. So I'm going to talk about maybe a possible solution. Now, I know everybody, is going to be going out to the trout stream soon, and they're going to be taking their kids. Yeah, break your kids in on trout. I think that's a great idea. It's fun. It's interesting. You get to keep some stuff and take it home, but maybe not have them limit out. Instead of having them take their 5 and greedily get out of there in 2 hours or an hour or whatever, maybe have them keep 3 or 4 and keep throwing the last fish back as long as it's not deeply hooked and bleeding, and teach them that it can be more fun to throw fish back and catch a bunch of fish instead of just catching your limit greedily and getting the hell out of there. Teach them that you're leaving those fish for someone else so they also can have a good experience too of catching plenty of fish and throwing back. And also, maybe if you're going to keep them, maybe just keep the big ones. I mean, the state is saying it's stocking better quality size fish. Maybe just keep the fish that are over 15 or 16 inches long. Because I hate to tell you, those small 7, 8, 9-inch trout with all the bones in them, there's hardly any meat on them anyhow. Maybe keep a thick one that's 15, 16 inches or better. So that you teach kids, okay, yeah, you do catch fish and you do keep what you catch if it's worth keeping, if it's a quality size. And not just keep everything just because you can. Also, some of these waterways can support trout for longer periods of time than you think. So some of those little trout that you're throwing back may live for quite a long time in a waterway. So instead of just focusing on limiting out, maybe we can stay on the water longer by throwing fish back that are smaller or keeping a partial limit instead of a whole limit, and also promote a healthier future for fishing in general in our waterways by teaching kids to be better conservationists and stewards of the resource when they fish for different species by not keeping everything. Reminds me of a country song. I forget who sang it, but the title was Walk a Little Straighter, Daddy, You're Leading Me. You gentlemen ought to think about that with your sons and daughters when you're out there. You're setting an example. Be sure to set the right one. I'm John Stevens, and again, this is the John Stevens Fishing Academy, talking about all topics related to fishing. This is another episode. About another 5 days to 7 days, I'll put another one out. You have a great day. Take care. And hopefully we'll get on the water soon. Bye.